So we have this part in. We haven't adhered our waterfall yet. This flap here, we're going to close it and we're going to work on this page, which is the inside. When you open it up, here's the front cover. Open this up, we're working on this page right here, which is on the back side of this. So we're going to be making an acetate pocket right here. So you're going to cut a piece of cardstock 6.5 by 4 inches. Put it in the scoreboard, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch on 3 sides. I'm just going to do this over here. It's easier for me. And 6. So we got our 1/2 inch score marks. Now before we do anything, what I like to do for me is to add my designer paper on here before I'm going to be using a die to cut my little window. I have a die like this, but it's a lot easier if you have your designer paper on, you cut with the die. This die gives you an opening of about 1 and almost 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. So roughly 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. So you can use a straight edge if you want to cut this out. You would just center it and then use a straight edge to cut out that window. I've showed you how to do that before. So I am going to go ahead and get my designer paper, which is going to be this. We're going to be using this to cover it. So I will cut it. This is now 5.5, so it's going to be 5 3/8 by 3 and let's see. This is 5.5, right? So we got 1/2 inch taken off. So it's 5.5. So it's going to be 5 3/8. This is 3.5, so it's going to be 3 3/8. So I'm going to cut my piece of designer paper, ink it, and put it on here, and I'll be right back. So I adhered that piece down, that designer paper, over our pocket. I put score tape around the 4 edges, and then I filled it in with lots of glue. I use 3-in-1 glue. And I am going to let this dry completely before I put it in the die machine. So while this is drying, you're going to be getting this paper, and you'll be cutting it to fit the back side of here. So this is going to be 8 inches tall. This is your 8 by 8 collection. 8 inches tall, and it's 6 3/8 minus like 1/16. So 6 3/8 minus 1/16 wide. You need to make your notch. So if you are doing the notches, make sure I get the design. It's facing this way, so my notch is going to be here. So we're going to put it in at 4, which is the halfway mark. 4. And then I always turn it over because just in case I didn't get it quite right. 4 and 4. I always seem to cut a little bit more. So then just re-ink this part. I've already inked everything else. Get that notch well inked. So this is going to be going here. So that's going to go on like that. And now I'll put that down. I use my tape, so I'll be putting that down. You can put yours down however you decide to adhere it down. Then I'm going to go ahead and line this up where I want it. And at least this has dots, so I can square it up with the dots. I'm going to kind of put it in like that, and I'll tape it down before I put it in my die machine. And just have the equal number of dots on top and bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and line this up and put it in my die machine once I know this is completely dry, and I'll be right back. Oh, so I put 1/4 inch tape, score tape, around the window. You want the acetate to be adhered down firmly there. And I cut a piece by 5 1/4. I almost want it to go end to end. I don't want whatever you're putting in the pocket hitting that acetate and down to the bottom. So I put score tape around the edges here, not at the top, but around the edges. And I've already pulled those. Hopefully this will work. Normally I just pull this one, and I want to see, it's going to go from here to here. So I want to get this end in first and get it squared up on this end. I think that looks straight. There. Now, oops. Now I can pull the rest of these. Where's this? And then you just burnish it down. That way you have a good seal around the window. Now the only thing is, doesn't seem like it's catching. It might be catching on the lip of the acetate here. So what I'm probably going to do is cut a 1/2 inch piece of black construction tape and just put it over this lip here before I adhere this down, just so whatever you put in this pocket doesn't catch on that lip of the acetate right there. So I'm going to cut my piece of black construction tape. I'm going to have to cut it, narrow it down, but I'm going to put that over here, and then I will be back. So I have my pocket ready. I put the black construction tape on the top here so there won't be any catching, and it actually reinforces this top part of the pocket too. And I got my score tape, mitered the corners here. I got glue all over my hands and got this down. So I'm going to put it like just maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 inch above from the bottom, and then move this over. You just want to make sure that it clears this lip. You don't want anything coming out that's going to interfere with this. So it's going to be about like that. So that I pull my tape, put it there, and once I pull that tape, I do want to cover the lip of this. Now that might be a little tricky because this is 1/2 inch. This is 5/8 of an inch. So I don't want the tape to be showing. So I'll put this in and then be right back. So I got my black construction tape down there. If you can see that. So whatever goes in that pocket will slide in and not get hung up on that acetate and not acetate, the lip of the pocket. So then you just close this, and we'll pull the tape or glue it down, and we'll be done with this page. We're going to be making our calendar in here and making some photo mats, but we are basically done with this page now. So we are going to start on the back side of this panel. So here's the acetate window. Let's see, can't see. So we are going to be starting on this page. So here was the acetate window. Here was the spread. We still haven't put in our waterfall. So you're going to lift this flap up, and then we're going to be working on this page. So I'm going to take this and open it up so that it's nice and flat. So you are going to get this from the 8x8, and it's 8 inches tall by, mine is like 6 3/8 minus an eighth, something like that. Depends on how you cut this page, so just measure yours. So you're going to ink the edges and make sure you cut out your little notch. You're going to measure it at 4 inches punch, flip it over 4 inches and punch. So I haven't inked mine, but that's going to go there. And then you're going to cut out a photo mat. So this photo mat is, I think it's 6, so it's 4.5 by 6 1/4. 6 1/4. 4.5 by 6 1/4. So you're going to cut that out of a black cardstock, and then to put on top, I went to the 12 by 12, this piece, and I wanted to get, there's a sun right in the middle there. Don't need to do that. Probably doesn't even matter because I now cut into the paper. So you can probably do this one. Probably just be just as good. I just wanted this sun in the middle. Probably should have done this one. Would have been just as good. But I didn't. So you're going to cut this piece of paper from the 12 by 12. And this measures 4 3/8, 1/8, 2/8, 4 3/8 by 6 1/8. And then I haven't put it down yet, but I'm going to. That's going to go on here. That's going to go somewhere here. And then I got this paper. This is from the 12 by 12 collection, this page, and I cut out a 2-inch strip. Now this I haven't figured out. I think it's going to go right under that sun, kind of centered with the card, somewhere over here, maybe closer over here. I think I might want it kind of like that. And I cut out this from the 12 by 12. I cut out this, the sun, sand, and sea from the 12 by 12. And that's going to go somewhere down like this. So that's going to be this page. So it's going, this card is about 3/4 of an inch away from the side here, and it's basically centered top to bottom. So it's going to be something like that. I haven't put it down yet, but that's the way it's going to be. So I'm going to get this down, and then I will be back, and we're going to work on the back side here, which is, I think we're going to do an envelope pocket here again. So I'll see you in a bit.